Hey, everyone. This is Christine Kidder, Career Coach, helping you find work that works for you. And I'm going live on 3 platforms again. Yeah, I'm actually getting good at this, I think, knock on wood, to talk about uh, communicating your value and having an irresistible LinkedIn profile. You want to make sure that you're doing that if you are on LinkedIn, and I'm assuming you are on LinkedIn. If you are watching right now, please put in the comments where you're watching from. That would be great. And then also, I want to know if you have any questions. What questions do you have? That'd be great to find out about your questions, because I'll be checking the comments periodically, and I want to make sure that I answer any questions that you have. It's important. Okay, awesome. So let's just jump right into this. And this is the first session of 2 sessions. So this session is on LinkedIn Live and also Facebook and YouTube. And then tomorrow's session is different in that it's a Zoom training. So you have to register for that ahead of time. You can still register. It's the link is on the screen, and then it's also in the information on this live too. It's a $17 registration fee, and that's to cover the materials at the minimal cost. And then also there is an application too, a short one, but the Zoom training tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time is tailored to all the participants, all the people who have registered. You may have, your schedule may be busy. You may not be able to be there live in this session, in the Zoom session with me, like you are now, or maybe, who knows, maybe you're watching this later on. Maybe you're not here right now. Regardless of that, if you register for the session, you will get the recording. And I like getting recordings as well, because the repetition to go through to make sure that you're getting everything and you know what to take action. And also too, every time you listen to something, you get something new. It's kind of like watching your favorite movie over and over again. I love Forrest Gump, and every time I watch it, I still get something new out of it, even though I've watched it dozens of times. I encourage you to use repetition in your learning, getting new information. However, don't just get information, because just by accumulating all this information, if you don't take action, then it's kind of useless. And that's another good thing, because I want to help you. I don't want to just give you all this information. It's that, like that story of not only giving someone a fish, but showing them how to fish. And I think it's like being with them as they're fishing and they're taking action. I have a short little tool that you will get. It's a worksheet to help you take action from the content that you're going to get in tomorrow's Zoom session. And that way you can start implementing it. I know many of you have lots of things going on. You have lots of interests, lots of things that you're balancing, lots of spinning plates. And you want to make sure that you're taking action. That is really important. And I'm here to help you to leverage your time, because, time is so precious, and to help you get to where you want to go. All right, let's get right into the comments or the content. I'm just checking to see if there are any questions. I'm not seeing any right now, but again, feel free to give me some questions, because I want to be able to answer them for you. That's the other nice thing about the Zoom training is although this is great, I'm excited to be streaming this to you and reaching you right now on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube. However, the nice thing about Zoom is it's just easier to interact, because right now, unless you comment, I don't know if you're watching. Well, that's why I love it when you do comment, or even just give me a like, or give me a heart, or give me any of those reactions are appreciated, because that way I know you're there. at least with Zoom, I can see you, and it's easier to answer questions, field questions, and make sure that you're getting the information. Oh, one other thing I did want to say. For tomorrow's session, if you're not able to attend live, you register and you automatically get the recording and you get the materials with it. And again, it's a $17 registration fee. Then after watching the recording, if you have questions, then we'll schedule a live conversation on the phone or Zoom, whatever you want. But I want to make sure that you get your questions answered, because again, it's not helpful information unless you get your questions answered, and then I want to support you in taking action. All right. First thing is, why is your LinkedIn profile important? Why should it even matter? Why? And then also too, we often hear people say, you should always have your resume updated. You should always do that. I think your LinkedIn profile is more important than your resume. And here's why. You never know when you're going to meet somebody. And I think we all have to be open to the possibilities, to the new possibilities that could be right around the corner. You could be very happy in your job right now, very content, just everything is going great, and that's wonderful. However, things are always changing. Change is the constant we know we can count on. And just because you're really content now, and I'm not trying to scare you, but you have to be ready for change, and you have to be open to change and to new possibilities. There's good and bad things. There's challenging things. Those are great learning opportunities, and that's how we're able to make our lives better. So it's important for you, if you do meet somebody new or hear about a new opportunity, and just talking about your career work life, then typically when someone new, a new contact or a new connection somehow comes into the picture, I know when I encounter a new connection, I check out their LinkedIn profile right away. I do. Now, granted, if we meet in person, that makes an impression. However, when I'm pulling up their LinkedIn profile, that makes an impression too. I do a weekly poll. I do it every Tuesday. And this week's poll is, how much time do you spend in reviewing someone's LinkedIn profile? And I think right now, the majority of people take under 30 seconds. Doesn't surprise me. I know our attention spans get shorter and shorter. You want your LinkedIn profile to come out of the gate right away and communicate what you want it to communicate. And you need to think about it. You need to be intentional. You don't want to be haphazard and just kind of, well, I'll put this, I'll put that. What do you want your LinkedIn profile to communicate? Who is your target audience? Who do you want to reach? Who do you want to linger on your profile? Your profile should be irresistible to your target audience. That's the caveat. You cannot have an irresistible profile to everyone out there. There's just no way, nor do you want to be. That sounds exhausting, doesn't it? It makes me tired just thinking about it. So who is your target audience? How are you irresistible? And that's tied to how are you invaluable to others? So thinking about those things, taking the time to do that is really important. And you want to make sure that your LinkedIn profile communicates that, because someone can pull up your LinkedIn profile like that And it only takes a few seconds, as we're seeing from the poll, to make an impression. And you don't want to miss out on that opportunity that comes around the corner. That could be the opportunity. Now, granted, you may have all these other opportunities that come across your desk or come on your radar that you're not interested in, and that's totally fine. We can't do all things, and I don't want you to have FOMO, but at the same time, you need to be focused. Again, think about who your target audience is. You should have a career plan. Everyone should have a career plan. It doesn't matter if you are actively looking for a job or totally happy in your current job, because again, as we know, we're still in the pandemic. Granted, it's better than when it started in March 2020, I think, in several ways. However, there's other challenges. That was such a huge disruptor. Think about all the people that, and maybe you were one of them, all the people that were very happy in their job, very comfortable. And then the pandemic came along and it just turned everyone's world upside down in many, many different ways. That's why you want to have your LinkedIn profile updated always, more so than your resume. It's key. It's very key. And yeah, you just want to be ready for that. And so how do you do that? How do you do that? Well, and you may feel like time crunched already. Again, you may have all those spinning plates that I referred to earlier. And what you do is you just start taking bite-sized action, at least. Like, when was the last time you updated your profile? If it's been a while, then okay, it's been a while. I don't want you to beat yourself up. It is what it is. Just be objective about it. You've had bigger fish to fry in the past, and that's okay. Just move on. All right. Can you take 5 minutes today before you go to sleep tonight to look at your LinkedIn profile? Can you take 15 minutes to do that? Okay. Just start with that. Okay. Even if you do small, bite-sized action for 5 to 15 minutes, starting today for the next 30 days, where would you be at the end of that 30 days? I mean, that's a pretty good position to be in, I think. I think you'd get a lot done, and you probably could have your LinkedIn profile done by then. And you might find that after blocking out that tiny little time block of 15 minutes per day, maybe there'd be certain days that you'd have a little bit more time, maybe 30 minutes, and maybe you could even get it done before the 30 days. If you didn't, that's fine too, because you made progress and you took action. Those are the key things to focus on. So I was talking about why keeping it updated. Other things that I wanted to touch upon too, just to make sure that I touch upon is, like, again, why is your LinkedIn profile so important? It's your brand. You often hear your brand. What's your brand? All you marketing experts out there, you get it. You know what it is. Me being a human resources person, I admire marketing, and I've been trying to develop my marketing skills, but I feel like I have a lot to learn still, but I do have an appreciation for marketing. And your brand is important. What it is, it's like, what do you want to communicate? Again, that's what's really important, is communicating your brand. And the way I think of your brand is, again, it's how you bring value to others, and how have you been invaluable in your past jobs. That's the key. So anyway, so your brand, You want to, have that LinkedIn profile ready to go. I wanted to touch upon, and I did this before my learning bites, but there's three main things, three big mistakes. They're little things, you can fix them very easily, but I think they hurt your profile and they hurt your brand when you're not doing them. And what they are is, so when you go, I'm going to go ahead. Can I share my screen here? Let's see. I'm having, well, if you have, by the way, I said this before in a training video, if you have the LinkedIn app for your phone, which you should have, if you don't, get it, because it's easy. That's an easy way you could start looking at your profile, is you could just get the app on your phone. Maybe just take 5 minutes on your lunch break, or maybe, when you are just taking a break, take 5 minutes and go to your profile on LinkedIn and check it out. Look at it and see, where do I want to make some changes? What do I want to do here? So anyway, you want to look at that. And number one, your profile picture, because we think visually, and you want to make sure that you like your profile picture. Do you feel like it's really getting you across? Okay. And again, your brand is unique to you. It's how you are invaluable to others, and what do you want to communicate? Okay. So number one, your profile picture. And the big mistake that I see people making regarding the profile picture is they don't have a profile picture. That's your brand, though. It's your humanity. You need to have a profile picture. I recommend what's best is a headshot, professional headshot. If you don't have that, then get a selfie, or maybe have a friend of yours take a headshot of you. Make it as professional as possible. And with the camera technology on our cell phones, you should be able to do that. It shouldn't be too hard. And then you want to make sure that your picture takes up at least 60% of the frame in the profile circle. And then the last thing is that I need to do still in my profile is have a pop of color as the background. So mine is a professional headshot, but I've seen some profile pictures that have like a nice pop of color as the backdrop. It's just a solid, like a bright yellow or a bright color, like a purple or something. And it helps. It makes it to pop. And I like that very much. The other two mistakes that I see is your headline. Your headline, it's like if you were to describe yourself in 12 words or less, and even 12 might be a bit too much, but think of a statement that is really unique to you. How would you describe your work, your career, who you are in your work? And you could even be creative and use emojis. Like, I like emojis a lot. I've seen people be really creative with their name, and they put their emojis in the name field, and that makes you stand out. Again, you want to be memorable, because you are memorable. You are irresistible. It's just, you have to show us why. Why are you memorable? Why are you irresistible? You need to show us in your LinkedIn profile how you are invaluable to others. And that's another mistake. I would say that's the fourth one. I'm jumping around a little bit, but you don't want your LinkedIn profile to be like your resume. You want it to tell your story. That's important, because stories are memorable. Stories are very memorable. Think about when you met somebody at a party, or even at a family, you're with your family for the holidays. We're coming up into the holiday time. You typically remember those stories that people tell when you go to a party and you meet someone new. They stay in your mind because they told you a story. You can do that. You should do that in your LinkedIn profile to have it to be more memorable. It's not a copy of your resume. You're telling your story. So, what are your stories that you want to share in your LinkedIn profile to be memorable? What do you want to communicate? Okay, so that's important. So, that's like the fourth mistake. Okay, so I was talking about the second mistake, your headline. So think of that statement that describes you. Think about those unique adjectives that you would use to describe you and have that be your headline. So it helps you to communicate your value, be memorable, and be irresistible. You want when someone's pulling up your profile, you want them to linger on your profile. You want them to read it and pay attention. Because remember, we have short attention spans. People typically take less than 30 seconds. They're reading your profile and then they're on to the next thing. But if you can get them to stick around and work their way looking at the rest of your profile, that's a really good thing. That's great. But the key things are that they look at right away that I'm being focused on in this 30 minutes is your profile picture, the headline, and then this is the big mistake that people make. Another big mistake is the banner photo. Not having a banner photo that just like having the generic LinkedIn banner photo. That is just, it's boring. It's boring, it's bland, and it's not your brand. It's not your brand. And it's easy to find a banner photo that is your brand, that you feel represents you. Because again, think of that banner photo as your professional billboard. We think in pictures. I've said that earlier. We think in pictures. You can communicate visually your brand. You can do that in that banner photo, not just your profile photo, but in your banner photo. How can you do that? Canva. Use Canva. Canva is a free tool that you can access, and they have templates that you can use. You can get a LinkedIn banner on that, and yeah, and you can tailor something specifically to your needs. And that's a great tool. And I know other people have told me that they've used other tools out there besides Canva to come up with a great LinkedIn banner photo. And that's great. There are lots of tools out there. There's no reason not to have that banner photo. Oh yeah, I wanted to say, I think that with getting back to your headline, many people have just used like title words like controller, accountant, maybe a few creative words, but really I think it's best to have a statement that if you can come up with a short, concise statement, not too short, because you want to use up all the space that you can. And I think LinkedIn now, before they didn't give us a lot of space, but I thought that they expanded it, and you want to use all that space that you're given to have a headline that really captures your brand in a statement. And you're not going to have it right away. It's going to be a work in process. Totally fine. Again, give yourself some grace. You're not going to be perfect. And that's okay. But you want to have a good headline that really grabs them and that, again, represents you and your brand. So maybe start with 6 words that best describe you. Like if you could come up with a statement that's only 6 to 7 words, and then try to expand it. I think, yeah, if you can use that. And I also think too, it used to be the case, and it might still be the case, when you have your statement, I think when you use the LinkedIn app to modify your headline, I think it gives you a little bit more space. I'm not positive on that, but you might want to try that out if you feel you need a little bit longer statement. Just don't make it too wordy. And if you want to like shoot your statements my way, I'm happy to take a look at them too. So I love it when I see someone's profile. So there are some really good profiles out there that exist. And LinkedIn is a really good resource. LinkedIn has really good sample LinkedIn profiles. And I like them because I feel like they tell a good story, and the headlines that they have in them are unique. And again, it has to represent you and your brand. All right, I'm going to check the comments here because I just want to make sure that I'm not missing any comments. Doesn't look like I am. However, if for some reason you think of a question after this session, just send me a message and I'm happy to answer your questions. I'm happy to take a look at your LinkedIn profile too and just give you like what my quick impressions are. I do that. I did that a bunch of times yesterday, and it only takes me 30 seconds, 30 seconds to a minute. But yeah, and that's another tip for you to do. Take the people that you respect, like maybe those old bosses, your mentor, former colleagues, current colleagues, and ask them, hey, what do you think of my LinkedIn profile? Now you might be like, oh, what if they think I'm looking for a new job and you're not looking for a new job? You don't want to give people the wrong idea. This is how you approach it. Just say, I just want to have a good LinkedIn profile. I think it's more important than my resume because I just want it to really represent me, and it doesn't right now. And I'd really appreciate your feedback. So so that's what I would recommend if you're afraid people are going to think that you're going to be leaving your job. People shouldn't be afraid. However, a good boss, the best bosses out there are the ones that appreciate you and are happy for you when you move on to future challenges. Because that's the great thing about being a leader, when you're able to develop your team and they're able to move on to bigger and better challenges. Okay, last thing is my training tomorrow. I mentioned it earlier when I first started talking, 30 minutes ago, but it's tomorrow, same time, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, but it's via Zoom. You need to register before for that. And again, it has a very small registration fee of $17 just to cover the administrative costs of doing the training. And then it has a short application, but again, that training is tailored to you. And there's Q&A, and I can really focus on the participants. It's just Zoom is different versus streaming live. I'm not complaining. I love streaming live. It's great, but Zoom is, for me, I just find it easier to manage in terms of interacting with you. Like right now, I don't know if you're watching unless you commented or you made a reaction. So, but yeah, so definitely look at the link. It's at the bottom of my screen. Even take a picture of it with your phone if that's easier. And yeah, I hope to see you in it. And then again, if the time tomorrow is bad for you, you'll get the recording when you register and all the materials. So, and then if you do have questions after watching it, when you can, then we'll talk one-on-one. We'll set up a time to do that, and get all of your questions answered, because that's crucial. And what's included in the materials is a worksheet to help you take action, because you don't want just a bunch of information. You want to take action. That's how you see the results. You get the results that you want in your work life and in your career. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for being here. I'm so honored that you were watching and that you were here with me. And if you're catching the recording, that's fine too. I love any comments that you can give me and your reactions. And again, I'm Christine Kidder, career coach, helping you find work that works for you. I hope to see you in the Zoom training tomorrow. So take care.